Welcome back to another Plat Chat head-to-head. This time, delving more into the Overwatch League side of things rather than complaining about the balance of May or whether or not she's going to disappear or reappear. It's Sideshow and Matt again. We're not giving her a Glock. We're not giving her a flamethrower. Goodness me. All right. The topic for today is whether or not the Shock fans should be worried about their team in 2020. This is a team that is now 1-2. They lost to both of the LA teams. They had a shaky win over the Dallas Fuel way back when. I'm of the opinion that Shock fans need to readjust their expectations of this team in 2020. This is a team that some people were saying was about to establish a dynasty.
Are you all right?
This is not a good way to start the season.
Man, quarantine is getting to you. You are going crazy. The Shock fans should not be worried. They're 1-2.
That's losing. I don't know whether you're aware of that, Matt, but that is losing.
1 + 2. What's the total of that?
That's 3.
I can do after math. 3 games. 3 games. They started off slow last year at the beginning of stage 1. They have a lot of pieces they're still trying to work in. The only thing that I would be worried about if I was a Shock fan is like, okay, maybe with kind of their formula with moving a lot of people around, it's not really suited for hero pools in general, right? Where you need to just kind of get that teamwork, have people who can play every week. But the end of the season, the playoffs, they've announced that there aren't any hero pools. So we good, fam. All you got to do is make the playoffs. Okay. They have the strongest roster, top to bottom.
Whoa. Let's tackle that one at the beginning as well.
There's no reason to worry.
All right. Let's start with the whole playoffs argument. If your argument is that Shock just have to make it to playoffs, well, fuck it. Every team just has to make it to playoffs. They'll probably extend the playoffs a bit anyway because this season has been all online.
All they have to do is make it in, and they're a player, and they can win.
What they need to do is prove throughout this season that they can compete once it gets to the playoffs. If they just get slaughtered all season long, then they have not shown that they have the ability to be able to win again once it comes to the playoffs. There's so many other teams in the league that are at the Shock's kind of level and actually exceeding them right now. What, you think they're just going to have some kind of playoff magic? You want to bet all of your Shock fans' kind of hopes on playoff magic?
I'd concede that there are teams right now that are as good, if not better.
Definitely better. They've lost.
Yeah, I mean, definitely better. But I think, though, this is a team that come playoff time, they have the roster to get it done. We've already seen it. We know how deep they are. This week, they got kind of burned and hurt by Moth not being able to play Lucio, and they have to rotate some other people in and play Brig, and it's a little bit of a circus.
Yeah.
They didn't really have a great Wrecking Ball look. Wrecking Ball's gone, right? Brig is gone this week. They're going to bounce back this upcoming week. And then this whole head-to-head thing, you'll go back and be like, oh wow, these two guys are both idiots, right? Like they're fine. Like there's no reason for the fans to worry. It's 3 games. It's 3 games.
Okay, it's 3 games, but that's the sum total of what they've played so far this year, and they have looked bad in all 3 of those games. They weren't able to properly play the meta at the beginning because Sinatra just looked uncomfortable on the May. And they drop a map to the Dallas Fuel and kind of scrape through on Oasis, the first map as well. And I was saying for a while, the Shock looking shaky. Don't put the Shock at number 1. They're looking a bit shaky. But all right, that was only one match. That was difficult to tell. Then they come up against the 2 LA teams. They got the wrong meta. They got people coming in and out like it's literally like it's a circus. It's just
like it's a NASCAR pit stop.
It really, I've never seen a clearer indication that they don't know what heroes to run and they don't know what players to run as well right now. And that's the kind of thing that can hurt the Shock because the Shock have always been a team that knew what to play, when to play it, who to play. That was how they built that legacy last year.
The season's different, though.
Yeah, it's different. That's why they're looking shaky. That's why you got to be worried.
Yeah, but like, okay, so hold on. So a team runs the table, like they look great all regular season with hero pool. You instantly think that as soon as we unlock everything, they're going to be the number 1 dogs again.
No, I do think that is a fair argument, that the regular season is not going to be very predictive for the playoffs. But if a team does badly in the regular season, it is unlikely that they're going to suddenly explode in the playoffs.
Unless you have the players necessary to cover all the bases and you are able to adjust to a meta. They got Krusty. They have all the players. They have the winning experience already. They just need to get through the regular season. When the Miami Heat got LeBron James and Chris Bosh, I know you know a lot about this because you're a basketball. You're
I'm
a basketball.
I'm a big fan.
They put together the big three, and then they lost like a ton of games at the beginning, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, it's failing." It's like, no, they ended up making the finals, and you know why? Because they have talent. At the end of the day, you need talent. Like, you could be the best team in the regular season, as long as you have the bodies that are good at the game, and you have people who can put them in position to succeed at the end, you're fine. And is it going to be is it going to be like last year where they were so dominant?
No, obviously not. I mean, nobody's even arguing that at this point. It was quite clear from hero polls and everything being online that this season was going to be more variable, right? But the entire season is now going to be online. That's something that the Overwatch League has come out and said.
You would today not pick them to win the whole thing? If you have the Shock or the Field, you would take the Field.
What, in like a straight 50-50? Do I think it's going to be the Shock or somebody else? I would always take somebody else because there's 19 other options, right? But wait, no, there aren't 20. Are there 20 teams in the league? Am I losing my mind? Yeah. So I think, okay, it's hard to name another team that you would have as a favorite, but there's a group of teams that you would say are more likely to win than the Shock. Like, I think that it's more likely to be one of Seoul, Atlanta, Shanghai, Philly.
We've never seen
than it is the Shock.
Though. We've never seen those teams play with everything available, though.
Well, you never will. I mean, that's an argument that you can just... That's you living in your own head, like your little delusions, like, oh my god, I hope they'll be good once Lucio's allowed.
I mean, they might be. I mean, who knows what the playoff meta is going to be. I trust the Shock. And then after that, like, I know there are teams that can beat them now. And I think there are teams that can beat them now pretty handily. I just have a hard time seeing them losing once they get the ship right and get everybody like in positions and rolling. Come playoff time, I have a difficulty like you know when you can like envision something, right?
Sure.
It's like can I see the Philly Fusion beating the Shock in a series in the playoffs? It's hard to see that.
Really? You think it's hard to see that? I mean, you've been talking about talent this whole time. There are other teams in the league apart from the Shock that have talent. Like, they maybe have more talent.
Seoul Dynasty, I'm like, okay. Like, that's a game.
Right.
Like, that's a series. NYXL, Seoul Dynasty, Vancouver Titans.
So what, the only team that you can't envision seeing is the Philadelphia Fusion?
No, I think the Fusion, like, I mean, look, Carpe, anything, if it's a Widowmaker meta for the playoffs and you have Carpe, you're in a very good spot to win.
Yeah.
There's only, like, out of the whole league, how many teams would you say for sure are better than the Shock?
Right now? Or come playoff time? Because right now, I think...
Imagine everybody right now was 0-0 and you had to rank the teams for the remainder of the year.
Okay, I mean, I would say that in this meta right now, at the moment, because that's, I mean, what am I supposed to do?
That's what you have
future
to judge
metas?
off of.
Like, how am I ever supposed to do that? Like, it's clear that both of the LA teams were better this week. I think that the Seoul Dynasty, clearly, they look like the best team of this week. You got to look at other teams that we know have been successful in similar metas, like Philly and like Paris. Both had like good reads on that kind of same meta that would probably still be able to perform really well.
And then now in 4 months from now, do you still feel as confident with those teams?
I feel
with their rosters.
I feel confident about like 5 teams that they're going to be at least the same level as the Shock. And this is why I think the Shock fans have to be a bit worried, is because those teams have got out the gate fast and still have enough talent to be able to compete with the Shock come playoff time. And so what we're actually seeing right now is not so much Shock, oh, they're going to continue to lose, but it's like, these are holes in the Shock's game plan. They didn't know what people to run. The Shock coaches are not infallible. They have sometimes points where they are unsure which people to run. They have heroes that they're uncomfortable on. Choi Obin, I genuinely thought the guy was infallible. I watched him play some Zarya and some Wrecking Ball.
The Wrecking Ball.
And my
the
God.
Ball.
I mean, if any week has shown holes in the San Francisco Shock, it has been this week. In terms
that's
of
the beauty of it, though. It's 1 week hero pools, baby. They change all the time.
That's
we
true.
Just rotating around.
That is true, but it does mean that there are holes in this San Francisco Shock lineup that the fans did not know were there before because they had just never experienced them. So I think the Shock fans should be a little worried because they were aiming so high. They were aiming for this like establishment of a dynasty to be able to win like back-to-back trophies. They looked like the favorites coming in. They don't look like the favorites anymore.
I think they are still the reason why I'm saying not to panic for Shock fans is that do I think you're the clear-cut favorite? No. Are you still in the 4 to 5 teams that we think are going to be there at the end? Absolutely. Given your track record in the roster, do you think that you're going to be at the upper echelon of those once the hero pools unlock for the playoffs and things start, you have to pick it back up again? Yeah, I would say you're going to be near the top half of those, 4 to 5 teams. That gives you a pretty good shot at winning it. So that's why I still feel pretty good about the Shock.
Yeah. I think that's reasonable to think that they would be in a good place come playoffs, but they've really got to turn things around because this week had to be a wake-up call for them, I feel. Because other teams have just been able to surpass them kind of easily. And so much of winning in the regular season is about finding the meta comp early and being able to practice it.
I'll tell you this. If you see them lose again to the Valiant...
Is that their next game? They go up against the Valiant again?
They go up against the Valiant on Saturday night. If they lose to the Valiant, you can scrub my whole webcam off of this video and just get everything I said, and you can just have a little solo conversation. I think that would be a worry. If you lose to the Valiant in like a meta that you don't feel comfortable with, I get it. The Valiants are a good team. I think they're an underrated team. If you lose to, if some of those heroes remove and it goes to something different, and you lose again in something else, that would be a little bit of a warning.
For sure. And then the Shock are also going up against the Gladiators the week after. And so if they end up losing Gladiators Valiant, at that point, I mean, they're in a Pacific Division where we thought they would be dominating, and they're getting rolled by the other California teams. Like, that does start to be properly worrying at that point.
Well, I think that worries you because it changes the dynamic when you're a team that wins and does really well, and then now you start to stink a little bit, and everybody, it's not as easy to keep everybody's ego in check at that point. Everyone's kind of like looking around like, that guy sucks, I could do that better, why aren't we doing this? The coaches.
What do they call it in the NFL? It's like a Super Bowl hangover or something, right?
Yeah.
So the team that wins the next year, they find it difficult to maintain that same
sometimes
velocity.
They don't even make the playoffs. Sometimes.
Yeah, and we saw that with the London Spitfire. I mean, I'm repping the grand finals that killed the London Spitfire, honestly. The next year, they just didn't do anything. The same with the Philly, actually. I mean, they made the grand finals, and they slumped the year after, and they've both had to rebuild pretty heavily. I mean, London going in a totally different direction. But, yeah, it does seem to be a phenomenon. I think it's down to motivation and drive.
Honestly, I would not be surprised. Like, I think if the Shocker in this, if we're still recording these head-to-heads in, week 13 about the Shock and are they in trouble and whatnot, I think at that point you would probably start subtracting from the roster a lot, like how you remember London really kind of buckled down year one.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have too many cooks in the kitchen. You gotta buckle down and just, hey, these are the guys we're going with and let's roll with them. I think I would not be surprised if you saw that from the Shock if they're playing musical chairs and everything's going like crazy. Somebody's got to step in and be like, okay, we need to select 10 people, 9 people max, and just roll with that squad. And it's not even trim some of the fat, but sometimes the players need a little bit of a wake-up call.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think the too many cooks in the kitchen as well. I mean, Avast was talking on a podcast recently about he was told that the Shock coaches literally fielded the wrong players on the first map of one of their matches.
Yeah.
Which is the classic Houston Outlaws mistake that you don't know quite how that one's happening, honestly. So
yeah, I mean, hey, it's a good thing though to be so confused over who your starters on because everything are good. but you should probably put the right people in.
Yeah.
Seems like a fundamental of coaching, managing, which we're in year 3 now. We still haven't gotten down 100%.
Yeah, remove some of the cooks from the kitchen. Let Krusty whip up his fantastic tagliatelle and stop dropping the orecchiette on the floor. And we'll all be good.
Yeah, I'd love to have a tagliatelle. One of your tagliatelles, Krusty. Send it over.
You are the most uncultured human in the world, which is why
I know a lot about culture.
Yeah, which is why I know that I'll be doing more of these with you again in the future, because I've got to set you straight on different pasta dishes and all sorts of different things.
We trigger each other's best and or worst. Debatable.
All right, what do you think in the comments section? Do you reckon that the San Francisco Shock should be a little bit concerned at this point, or is it just a blip on the radar, same as last year, where they're going to speed ahead and end up taking it all again? Let us know in the comments section, and click the subscribe button. Smash it on your keyboard.
Bang it.
For more of this content coming out in the future.